Juck, at number one, the most beautiful uniform in all of sport. If they brought back the gray stripes, this thing is so far out in front of everybody, you can't touch it. We are not bemoaning the noon kickoff. We are now owning it. It's a badge of honor. We're the lunatic fringe that defines our coach's legacy when it comes to this game. They don't get to define that outside the family. We're cut from a different cloth. We're Ohioans. Do I want Michigan to beat Oklahoma? No way in hell. I don't know what world I'm living in. This is insane to me. And if you saw my outburst, I apologize. It's showtime now. Welcome to Juck on Bucks. Appreciate you so much. Initial thoughts coming out of the Ohio game. We're not going to take too long here. I just wanted to put something down before I hit the sack here. Just watched Notre Dame finish losing their second game of the year, and Clemson also with their second loss. Those two Titans moved to 1-2 on the season. Ouch, man. That certainly stinks. The Buckeyes, of course, play a game and don't look fantastic doing it, but end up winning 37-9. Don't cover. So if you bet the Bucks, I apologize. I bet the Bucks. Anyway, an interesting game. You had Ryan Day coming out, starting aggressive. Possession number one. You get the ball inside the 10. First down, run the ball. C.J. Donaldson for no gain, thanks to Tegra whiffing a block. Second down, run the ball. C.J. Donaldson, Brandon Innes whiffs the block. Third down, pass the ball to Carnell Tate. I thought he got held up. Didn't get called. He still had an opportunity to catch it. DB went up through his arms and made a pretty decent play after he held him. But it's 4th and 5. You go for it. Julian Sand takes a sack because he doesn't see Donaldson leak out open for a second. And that was aggressive. You kick a field goal on the second possession from like 38 yards. Then the third possession, after you were so aggressive on the first, you got the ball at the 1.5 yard line on 4th and goal and kick a field goal inside 20 yards. I'm like, that's weird, man. You're going against a MAC team. You're up 3-0 in the first quarter. Like, what are we doing? If you can't get 1.5 yards against another team from the state of Ohio on 4th down, like, you don't deserve to win. Usually the attitude a guy like Ryan Day would take in that situation. We didn't see him do it. In the post game, he said sometimes, you can't get greedy or got to, just take your losses or something like that. I get what he's saying. It just seemed weird, man. That's the spot you would expect him to go for it. Anyway, some highs, some lows this game for sure. Julian saying to me, who ended up with a really great statistical line, it felt a little out of rhythm. Felt like there were parts in the game where he just wasn't seeing the field like we'd seen him last week. And to Ohio's credit, they had much better downfield coverage. Their back seven was a lot more talented. But all in all, like I said, he does put together a great stat line. It was like 25 for 32 for about 350, 3 touchdowns, and then the 2 picks. Ryan Day, not happy about those 2 picks, as he never is. He says, the thing is, it's like golf. You can play great, but if you hit 2 in the water, your round's ruined. And he was not. Did you see at the end of the game when the girl comes up to interview him? And I felt so bad. This girl, she's walking up and she thinks like, oh, I'm going to go talk to the winning coach. He won 37-9. Certainly he's going to be a happy fella. And she gets like mean Ryan Day. He's mad. And she's like, the standards are really high here, which was a great recovery. Like, bravo. She did fantastic. But I don't think she was expecting him to be so irritated. About Julian's performance, he said the throw to Carnell could have been stronger. The fade to Jeremiah could have been cleaner. And then you had CJ step out of bounds on the one drive and a penalty that ruined another red zone trip as well. So not scoring in the red zone made him furious on the night, and they were really lousy in the red zone. After the second pick, Julian said that he felt the rush coming, but he was too loose with the ball, didn't put it in his chest like he's taught to do, and the ball came out. And it's good to battle some adversity out there. On the red zone struggles, he said, I think we need to stay on schedule better in the red zone, and that timing starts with me. Not a lot of space down there, so precision is key. And Julian's play overall, Ryan Day said, I thought he played well, and he said that the deep balls tonight were excellent, and they certainly were. I was talking to Dylan last week, talking about Will Howard and Will's accuracy as a quarterback was based on the decision-making that he made. And it was a different kind of accuracy that we see from Julian, who's just like pepper people's face masks in stride accuracy. And two really accurate guys. But I think we have what set Will apart, which was his running and the fact that he was a threat to run down close to the goal line. Julian doesn't have that. What Julian does have and is willing to do that we didn't see out of Will, remember for like the first 5 weeks of the season, I certainly do. A whole lot of people were very mad that Will was very reluctant to throw it long. And when he did, it was very short. So where Will has this extra that is his running ability, Julian will let it fly. And with the wide receivers you have to love that. So not afraid to take that shot. More often than not, it's a very well-placed ball. And you like that about him. However, it sure would be nice if you had that threat to run. Of course, we saw Lincoln Keenholz come in for a play, got his head taken off, looked good doing it. Ryan Day talked about that after the game and said the full playbook is open to him. So will we see some more of that? I imagine we will. As far as Julian, I think he has the ability to at least pick up a couple of first downs and keep him honest here and there. But, we've seen this out of Ryan Day before. We saw it with Justin Fields. You know what I mean? We saw it with Stroud. We know those guys can move too, but he doesn't want them to. So we're back to Chip. Chip Kelly's not here anymore, and the starting quarterback is not going to be pulling it out of there on a read option. It's a handoff all the way. It's a give 100%, and he is not going to be encouraged to take off and go, and that is just how he plans on doing it. So, as far as those wide receivers, 12 total targets for Jeremiah, who caught 9 balls, which they said was a record for him. I could have sworn he had like 13 catches one game last year. Maybe it's a regular season record. 153 yards, including that 47-yarder. Had another 17 yards in that end around for a total of 2 touchdowns. 170 yards total, which I love. Carnell Tate, another 100-yard game. 5 catches on 6 targets with that 49-yarder. Then tight end Max Clare joins the party with a touchdown. He caught 2 balls for 30 yards. And matter of fact, all 3 backs had 2 catches apiece. And let's see, Bo had 21 yards, CJ had 13, and Peoples had 11. So they all caught 2 balls. Then you had 3 total tight ends, Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, Jelani Thurman, as Julian Sand continues to really spread it around. The only guy that noticeably didn't catch a ball was Brandon Innes. Brandon did have 1 good return of 28 yards, so that was nice to see. As for the running game, I wasn't surprised. I still had some pushback last week, but I was surprised by the amount of pushback I had last week talking about Bo Jackson. And if you are someone who just watched Bo Jackson do this again and can't acknowledge that there's a clear number 1 back on this team and his name's Bo Jackson, you just want to be stubborn at this point. You just want to be stubborn. I put out a short last week, 32,000 views, and the number of comments I got from Ohio State fans telling me I was insane, it was grambling, was just unbelievable. Like, I don't know how you cannot see the difference between what you're seeing on that tape there. I don't know how. But it had nothing to do with crambling. I've been saying it all summer, and those who've watched this show know that I've been saying it longer than that, because the thing is, it's not close. It was never close. These aren't like talents. When you talk about Bo, Peoples, and Donaldson, Peoples averaged 4 yards a carry as a freshman. Donaldson averaged 3.8 yards a carry over the course of a year at West Virginia. Like, these are just good backs. Neither of them are ever going to be great. If anybody thought James Peoples was magically going to turn into J.K. Dobbins after averaging 4 yards a carry as a freshman, like, you were just kind of wishing that. You were wishing that, and he's also from Texas and built similarly. Like, that's it. Not that kind of talent. Bo is that kind of talent. Bo's a Zeke kind of talent. He's a different kind of dude. And the second week in a row, he is the second highest leading yardage producer on the team after one Jeremiah Smith. He had 9 carries for 109 yards. Last week, he had 9 carries for 108 yards. Last week, he busted a 54-yarder. This week, a 61-yarder. It's what he does. Second game of the year that he averages over 12 yards a carry. Second game of the year, he leads the team in rushing. And just like I said last week, he consistently breaks long runs, and he's done it since he walked on campus. He did it in spring, in the spring game, in the practices, in the scrimmages. He's faster than both of them and has considerably better vision and the ability to hit the crease with speed that they don't. And Ryan Day actually finally gave him his kudos when he didn't in Tuesday's press conference. Totally diverted the question. He talked about how explosive he is. He's, yeah, you could see it. So he was reluctant to say it. Thing is, he has to say it now. Now that he's seen it twice on the field, there's no going back here. There's no going back here. There is no keeping him off the field. In fact, whether he's the starter or not, and I know a lot of people are clamoring for him to be the starter, it doesn't matter. The point is, Bo Jackson will lead this team in carries for the rest of the year. No doubt about it. Unless there's an injury, that's the guy that's leading the team in carries. End of discussion. And if you still want to argue with me in the comments about it, like so many of you did last week, let's do it. Let's do it. Because like I said then, I'll say it again. You're going to be so wrong. Anyhow, let's get to the defense. Obviously, another dominant performance by a squad that has now given up just 16 total points through 3 games. They were amazing. And outside of one really rough-looking play by Lorenzo Styles Jr., who all in all has played really well this year, actually had decent coverage, gave up a catch. It was a good catch by the receiver. Then he kind of like hand fought him down the field instead of wrapping his legs up, and the dude scored. That was just crazy to me. It just looked horribly bad. And then he got hurt later, which sounds like he's going to be okay, but it looked like he broke his arm, I thought, the way they were walking off. But it seems like he'll be all right. Bryce West came in for him, backing him up. Standout performers on defense today. We saw Arvell leading the team in tackles. Again, total stud. He was everywhere. He had 2 pass deflections. He had a sack. He had a TFL. Caleb and Sonny both had 6 tackles. Caleb was really good today. Jalen Flippin McClain was excellent. 5 tackles, and that led the team. 4 solo tackles led the team solo. And then he had the hit of the year so far, which, as conditioned as I am to, and I've talked about this before, like it upsets me so much that whenever we see a big collision on a football field when we were younger, or even I say young, like in my 30s, that would be like a thing to celebrate. And now the initial reaction is you're looking around for a flag. Like you can't even have joy about it, right? So this hit that McClain put on that dude was so clean that I didn't even have that second of, because that's how clearly clean that hit was. And the fact that they still stopped it to look at it, it's almost like they're digging for it. They're digging for it. And that pisses me off because that was so obviously clean and below the top level of his shoulder pad when he made contact. I couldn't even believe it. That was astonishing, and it really made me mad. But McClain is the dude. McClain is the dude, and I really think he's got it up here too. And when we talk about Caleb leaving, how much you're losing, yes, you're losing everything in that player, but there was the thought that you're also losing the versatility that he brings because of his intelligence level and all the different things you're allowed to do with him because of his intelligence level. I think McClain can do quite a few of those things, not the full repertoire, but they're going to be able to use him in a lot of different ways. And he's an exciting young player, man. Exciting young player. Thank you, Perry Eliano. Bo Atkinson, with his best game as a Buckeye, got himself a sack, 2 TFLs, and he looked really good doing it. Total of 4 sacks for the squad today. But to me, the defensive standout was once again Caden Curry. He was everywhere. 4 total tackles, 2 solo. Had a sack from nose, blowing up a double team, which is one of the more difficult things to do, particularly when you're not a 325-pound nose guard. I mean, he's an undersized dude playing nose. He's an end playing nose. That's crazy. He's just been tremendous. He has been tremendous all year, and I couldn't be happier for a guy who in his 4th year finally gets his opportunity to start, and he's just like all of a sudden a star. It is awesome to watch. He's always been a team guy, and that is just, it's great. This is his last year of eligibility. He's not like Kenyatta, who has another year should he want it. So it's all or nothing for him here. And that's great. So the quarterbacks for Ohio were a combined 10 of 20 against the Bucs defense and 68 total yards rushing for their team for 2 yards a carry. A dominant defensive performance again. And these guys are, they're something, man. It's one hell of a defense. All right, let's get to our questions. In the pregame show, we ask some questions and then we answer them coming out in our initial reactions. Question number 1, will one running back stand out? Question number 2, does James Peoples rebound? I actually think he did. I think he looked better, right? He didn't look great, but he did have obviously that one like 17 or 18 yard run, and it was a big hole. I don't think he created much. I don't think he broke many tackles, but he did get out of an ankle tackle on that one. So that was good. But ultimately, yes, he had a better game. I don't think he created much, though, and that's the difference. Do Tegra and Ethan continue rotating? Number 3, I absolutely think they continue rotating because Ethan is continuing to play a little better. It looks like Tegra is still having the mental hiccups. And I thought that last week Tegra had a really good game, and I thought maybe we'd start seeing him shut that down. Doesn't look so. 4, Phil Daniels. Right tackle Phil Daniels has looked like a first team All Big Ten player so far. Again, he had a really good game today. But before I really get too into offensive linemen, I want to see the All-22, at least watch it again. Hopefully not on Peacock. My son found out that I can watch this on Amazon Prime and actually like rewind through the commercials, which I couldn't do on Peacock, which was unreal. Number 5, will Max Clare break out? I don't know if he broke out, but he got his touchdown, right? 2 receptions. That's just 4 receptions on the season, which actually might be the same amount as Brandon Inniss. And the interesting thing there is we thought that Julian Sam would be very dependent on those two as a young quarterback, right? Your tight end and your slot receiver. Not so much. He's quite comfortable with those couple of first round picks down the field there, which I guess, hey, that's cool too. Number 6, who emerges from the next 3 defensive ends? And that is CJ Hicks, Logan George now getting in, and Zion Grady. Who was going to emerge this game to be next out of those 3 guys, and who would have a good game out of those 3 guys? And honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of any of them. I don't have the snap counts yet, but none of them really stood out in any way to me. So we'll have to answer that one on rewatch. Number 7, can Riley repeat his performance? Riley had 3 tackles again in pretty limited time. So yeah, safe to say, yeah, I think he did repeat his performance. Obviously, he didn't get as much time to play, which is also why I want to see them going for it on 1st and goal from the 1.5 to get these young guys in again early as it stood. We didn't get to see them till very late. And number 8, punt and punt return. Punt looked good. Punt return. We had a 28-yarder by Brandon Inniss. We had a Jeremiah quick drop and then picked it up. And we had one that didn't, a fair catch that also looked a little shaky. Like, it just isn't there, man. It isn't there yet. It's a constant ball of stress. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I was happy to see the guy with the best hands on the team back there, Jeremiah Smith, and then promptly that doesn't work. And it's just like, what? We're cursed. We're cursed. Anyway, guys, those are my initial thoughts. Let me know yours. Of course, we'll do a little more in-depth. Obviously, we've got a lot of time now between now and Washington to talk about not just this game, but the first, quarter of the season, regular season, that is in the books now with Texas, Youngstown State, now Miami, Ohio, and a whole lot to talk about, obviously, this week on Buckeye Huddle Primetime at 8 p.m. on Monday and Wednesday over on the Buckeye Huddle channel. And, of course, I'll be pumping out videos here on Juck on Bucks, as well as kind of looking back at the week that was of college football, because we had some serious action here. The Oregon Northwestern game was pretty interesting. We'll talk about that. I got some thoughts on quite a few, as I was able to take quite a few in. Poor Tennessee. They had Georgia. They finally have Georgia down. They got them by the balls. They let them come back in. And then they're going to need to kick a 37-yard field goal to win that thing. They're centering the ball, and their dipshit left guard gets an offsides penalty or a false start penalty, kicks him back 5 yards. Now you got this kicker who was banking on a 37-yarder, and now it's a 42. And you will never convince me that didn't, obviously the anxiety of it all, but that right there is just like, now you've pushed it over the edge. You've made it even further after he already is thinking 37. It's a very big deal for these guys. That 5 yards difference, it's a totally different thing in their mind every time, every 5 you move back. So they end up losing the game in OT, and just a real shame. I was excited to see them break their streak against Georgia, not because I'm a fan, but it's always fun to see Georgia lose. And I also feel like they're slipping, but man, Gunnar Stockton answered the bell. The dude had not thrown the ball long all year. Why are we talking about other games right now on the Buckeye post game? We'll talk about that later. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later.